Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about hemolytic uremic syndrome. What is hemolytic uremic syndrome? How does it develop? How it is differentiated into typical and atypical HUS? So these are the agenda of this presentation. So hemolytic uremic syndrome is very commonly known as the typical HUS. The most common one, 85% to 90% of the cases are typical HUS, and atypical HUS comprised as to 10 to 15% of the cases. So typical versus atypical HUS, and the typical HUS is due to the Shiga-like toxins that is elaborated by O157S7 strain of E. coli, follows commonly bloody diarrhea, common in children generally less than 5 years of age, and often it is important to know that it can also be caused by Shigella dysentery itself. The most exam point of view, most common causes O157S7 strain of E. coli, and there is Shigella dysentery. So it is common in children less than 5 years. The endotoxin elaborated by these organisms causes damage to the endothelium, followed by microthrombi formation and leading to urinary failure, renal failure, and many other systemic damage happens because of that. So in hemolytic uremic syndrome, you will generally see a triad of hemolytic anemia, thrombocytopenia, and there is a renal failure. That are the classical features. Atypical HUS also having the same triad, but here, as you can see over here, there is a component H, component I, MCP, which is also known as CD46. These are basically mutated. So why they are mutated? They are mutated because they are unable to perform their function of inhibition of this C3 and C5 convertase. So there is unchecked activation of C3 C5, and that causes extensive activation of alternative pathway of complement, and that causes severe damage. So here there is generally no history of diarrhea, and it may be triggered sometimes by infection, pregnancy, or drugs. May trigger some kind of a atypical HUS, but many a times it could be spontaneous without any clearly evident cases. So generally no diarrheal, no episodes are seen over here, and because it is not associated with any kind of a diarrheal infection, whereas the HUS, the typical HUS, is typically caused by accompanied with bloody diarrhea because it is precipitated by eating hamburgers, undercooked beef. That is one of the common cause of the HUS precipitation. And here in atypical HUS, there is uncontrolled complement activation that leads to all the triad of complement activation followed by anemia, cystocytes in the blood, thrombocytopenia, and even renal failure. So it is more commonly in the adults. Atypical HUS is more prevalent in adults. Typical HUS and atypical HUS, all as we discussed, it is having the same thing, same mechanism of action in terms of the clinical features, and but the pathogenesis clearly differs with the direct toxin related damage in typical HUS and atypical one causing atypical HUS commonly caused by complement activation. Under unchecked complement activation is the cause of atypical HUS. Both present with the same thing, and generally the age difference is there. Atypical HUS at any age, most commonly it is seen in adults, and atypical HUS are difficult to treat, may result in end stage renal diseases as well. So treatment includes supportive care, no antibiotics for typical HUS. IV fluids and hydration and dialysis may be required for acute renal failure. Generally, self-resolving, good prognosis. If antibiotics or antidiarrheals are given, this may release more of Shiga-like toxins and worsen the situation. Atypical HUS, on the other hand, is treated by C5 inhibitor Eculizumab. Genetic counseling, long-term follow-up is needed, and there is a risk of recurrence. Poor outcome is also there if it is untreated, and generally they are having a poorer compliance and poor prognosis compared to that of typical HUS. So what we learned today, the quick recap of that, we talked about the typical versus atypical HUS, Shiga toxin, which is caused, we elaborated by O157S7 strain of E. coli, or that of the Shigella dysentery, or and the atypical HUS, typically the complement mutation leading to inactivation of factor H, factor right, and factor I, and leading to excessive activation of excessive activation of complement C3 convertase that leads to damage to the endothelium. Diarrhea is absent in typically atypical HUS. Children are more commonly affected in typical HUS versus adults commonly in atypical HUS. Recurrences are rare in typical versus very common recurrences in case of atypical HUS. Treatment is supportive in case of typical HUS, whereas C5 inhibitor Eculizumab is more being given in case of atypical HUS. Atypical HUS is generally having a poorer prognosis, needs prompt treatment, whereas typical HUS, you can have a treatment with supportive care. Do not prescribe any kind of antibiotic as it may worsen the toxin release and symptoms. So that's all for a typical versus atypical HUS. Hope you grabbed all the key facts. Contact us for any kind of a pathological teaching or any crash course versus needs. Download our app Pathology Simplified from Play Store, where you get access to lots of free resources, some paid resources. Contact us for any kind of teaching needs. Thank you for your kind attention. See you in another video. Bye bye for now.